I had my ordination to the priesthood on the last 14th of September. After my ordination, I had 2 weeks of break at home. And one of the precious moments of this break was the time that I spent with my mother. Every morning, we have a nice chat over a cup of tea. One of the beautiful things that I discovered in my mother's life is her simplicity of her faith. All my studies here and abroad couldn't match the simplicity of my mother's faith. I learned a lot from him. And upon these simple things, my vocation was built. Before I learned all of these dogmas and scriptures and all these theological investigations. My dear friends, little things can help us become a saint. We all are called to holiness. We all can become saints. And we have a wonderful saint, Saint Therese, who has shown us doing little things we can become a saint. In fact, not all of us can do great things. Because we are human, sometimes when we read the stories of the saints, we feel helpless. How can I become a saint? Can I really grow in holiness? But sainthood is possible. We all can become saints. The path towards holiness is the little way. What is this little way? The little way is the things that we do in daily life. Simple acts of kindness and love towards others. When you read the story of Saint Therese, that's what you find. When she entered the convent, she did little things. She looked up to the saints like Saint Therese of Avila and John of the Cross, who are Carmelite saints. And when she wanted to become a saint, when she read those stories, she felt impossible to become a saint. And she was asking herself, like a little child as she was, can I become a saint? Yes, she did. Not only she became a saint, she became a doctor in the church. Now what did she do? At the convent, she helped in the liturgy. There was an annoying nun in the convent. She offered herself to this nun, and she washed clothes, and she sweeps the floor. These are some simple things that she did. Doing those simple things, she was able to become a saint. Saint Therese says like this, "You know well enough that our Lord does not look so much at the greatness of our actions, nor even at their difficulty, but at the love with which we do them." God doesn't look at the greatness of our actions, not even their difficulty, but how much love do we put into those actions. Sometimes a word of smile, a word of courageous word would be enough to help a person. So do we look at our life and make use of those opportunities that present in our life to live a kind and loving life? As a mother, as a father, as a student, we all can become a saint. Even if you make a cup of tea, do we see that as an act of love? Or do we see that as a burden? Or today also I have to make a cup of tea. Today also I have to cook. These are simple things. Saint Therese is like us. And she became a saint. She became holy. And when we do these little things, how can we be sure that we can become saints? Once Therese was asked, how did you become holy like this? How are you able to live this life like doing simple things and become a saint? And she had this beautiful story. Imagine there's a long staircase. At the bottom of the staircase is a child, and at the top is the father. And father calls out the child, "Come on, my dear, come on, come towards me." And the child is at the bottom. The child looks up the top, and she feels impossible because it's too high to climb. And the child keeps on trying and trying, and with the little steps, she can't make it. And she tries to keep one step like this and another step, but she can't. And the father keeps calling, come on, my dear child, come on. And looking at the efforts of the child, father cannot hold his love. And father rushes down the stairs and embraces the child and carries her to the top of the staircase. My dear friends, this is how Saint Therese explained how she became a saint. When we do our own part, when we do our little things, simple things in our daily life, when we show kindness to those whom we meet in our daily circumstances, God will look at your heart. See, oh, this child is trying, and he keeps trying. And then he will come down towards you and embraces you and takes you up to holiness. And God will make us saints if we do simple little things in life. Saint Therese once said like this: God would never inspire with me desires which cannot be realized. So, in spite of my littleness, I can hope to be a saint. God would never inspire with desires which cannot be realized. So, in spite of my littleness, I can hope to be a saint. Jesus says the same. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? So he called a little child and set the child in front of him. Then he said, I tell you solemnly, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. My dear friends, unless we become like little children, we will never enter the kingdom of heaven.